Shouldn't my baby be enough? Am I selfish for wanting more for myself? Do good moms feel this way? Or am I just being a terrible mom? Loving your child deeply doesn't mean you have to give up your dreams, passions, or personal time. It doesn't. Motherhood is not about erasing yourself. Hello and welcome once again to another episode on Haze Off. My name is Dana and I have been running through a series of episodes where I talk about my experiences postpartum and what I had to do with my mental health and how I'm coping and getting through all that I have gone through. In this episode, which I have titled Lost in Motherland, I will be talking about how it feels to feel like you're lost, like you've lost yourself in motherhood. I mean, you love your baby, but then you look into the mirror and you're like, I do not recognize who this person is that I see in the mirror. This episode is for you. If you feel like you have been looking in the mirror and you do not recognize who it is that you see in the mirror when you look at it. In this episode, we'll be talking about a couple of things. First, we'll be talking about identity crisis, why no one talks about the identity crisis that comes with becoming a mother, the guilt of wanting more than just being a mom, how to reconnect with your passions, personality, and faith, and simply ways to just make you feel like yourself again without any iota of guilt. Well, maybe not totally without any iota of guilt, but with less guilt for sure. So let's dive into this. For most of us, we were bubbly before we had our babies, before we got pregnant and all of that, and now it just looks like we are not who we used to be anymore. This episode is for you if you've gone through any of that. So let's talk about why all of this happened, how to reclaim your sense of self, and why rediscovering you is not selfish, but absolutely necessary. Because why stay in the old when there's something new that can come out of what you've gone through, when there's something beautiful that can come out of the new phase and identity that you carry now. Motherhood changes really everything about you. Your priorities shift, your schedule revolves around the tiny human, and suddenly you start to look at yourself and you just notice that the person you were before is a distant memory. I know that a lot of mothers can recognize this and identify what I'm saying right now. And really, nobody wants you about this as much. I mean, there are conversations around it, but nobody really wants you about it. And I don't blame them because nobody can really warn you about it. You need to experience it to really feel what it means like to lose yourself because you love someone so much. But the essence of this episode is to let you know that you cannot, or rather you shouldn't lose yourself. I mean, society glorifies the selfless mom. Society glorifies the fact that moms are sacrificial, moms give up a lot of things, and there's a lot of recognition now that being a mom is a job that nobody can really pay you for, which is fantastic and absolutely true. But even with all of that, I want you to just realize that motherhood is a part of you. It is not all about you. There is also a part of guilt in wanting more than just being a mom. I've seen and heard of experiences of people who guilt shamed for wanting more or being dissatisfied with the fact that they are just a mom. And I feel like it is totally wrong because before you became a mother, you were a lot of things. You had a career, you had dreams, including the dream of being a mother. So why do we shame mothers for wanting to be more than just being mothers? It is a part of who you are and is not totally who you are. Aside the fact that a lot of people outside guilt shame moms. Moms themselves, I think, do not help themselves because there's just this internal battle inside of them. There's this war. Shouldn't my baby be enough? Am I selfish for wanting more for myself? Do good moms feel this way? Or am I just being a terrible mom? I've been there. But I want us to literally just break this guilt apart. And I want you to know that loving your child deeply doesn't mean you have to give up your dreams, passions, or personal time. It doesn't. Motherhood is not about erasing yourself. It is really about evolving. And like I said, it's about becoming even much more beautiful than what you were before you became a mom. I feel like becoming a mom sends a signal to your brain that you have superpowers because it's actually just so much superpower moves to have a baby, to grow a totally different human inside of you and give birth to that human is an absolute total superpower. And that's what this is about. It's about you evolving, and your children will benefit from seeing their mom being fulfilled and whole, and not just running on empty, and not just running on this guilt and the resultant effects of the guilt that you are carrying. It is inherent inside of you to want to be more. So do not let anything stop you from being more, because, like I said, you absolutely have a superpower inside of you, and your brain is sending that signal to you to let you know that you have that superpower, which is why you are desiring more, and which is why you are wanting to achieve more than just being a mom, which is absolutely beautiful. So, I'm going to talk about how you can reconnect with your passions, with your personality, and your faith. You were someone before you became a mom. You were someone before you birthed that beautiful human that you hold in your hand. And to be honest, that person still exists. So let's talk about ways to find her again. I want you to ask yourself, what did I love before motherhood? What made me feel alive? Ask yourself those questions. Note these things down and write it down. What did I love before motherhood? What made me feel alive? What made me feel so good and spark things in my mind? For me, I loved to create, and I just noticed that the moment I started to put pen to paper again, or put fingers to the keypad again and start to write, I started to feel like myself again. I love to dress up. I love to look good. And I realized that the moment I started to go out again and intentionally put outfits together, intentionally curate things that I would wear, I started to feel like myself again. It wasn't an instantaneous happening. It didn't happen all together at once, but it began to get better. So you could start by trying to do small things. If you love to read a book, or even if it's not something you absolutely loved to do, if you're at the moment and not finding connection to the things that you used to do in the magnitude that you used to, how about trying new things? I mean, we just talked about you reinventing yourself. We just talked about how you have superpowers now. So how about trying new things? Read a book in small portions, visit an old habit, or take a class, go hiking, do something adventurous within the time that you have. I know it's absolutely tight for you. I know it's as easy for you, but you've got to find yourself. So this is the moment. Try something new. Do something new. Your freedom lies in you taking steps, taking small, tiny steps. And the process to you becoming who you were, and even much more like I would desire for you, better than you were before, lies in you taking tiny small steps, and you should take those tiny small steps. So how about your faith? How do you reconnect with your faith? My goodness, if motherhood has made your faith feel so distant, it's like it did with me, especially if you had issues with your health, you had issues with your mental health, and you felt so distant from God. How do you stay connected to God? That's coupled with the fact that I know that the schedule of being a mother can make having a fellowship time with God feel so frustrating and feel so daunting and feel like an endless cycle of failed efforts. That's what I'm going through. If usually sometimes we just feel like an endless cycle of failures, because I have alarms set up for when I should pray, but at that point in time when I should pray, I should be getting to the point where I'm just wrapping up dinner and I'm tired, and then baby wakes up, baby wants to feed, and then I feed baby. By the time I'm done feeding baby, my entire time of prayer is spent off on doing other things. So how do you stay connected to your faith in moments like that, when it feels like you just cannot get through your daunting cycles to get a time to study, to fellowship, to pray? What do you do in those times? I'm going to start by talking about what I do. What I usually would do is intentionally make sure that my atmosphere is filled with the presence of God. So even at the times when I can literally not go and have that very personal time with God and say, this is my prayer time, what I would do is make sure that I have a message playing, a sermon playing in the background, I have worship in the background, and I'm just letting God know that I have you in mind and I'm intentional about creating time for you, and you understand my schedule. And if there's anything that I've come to know, is the fact that God actually understands your schedule right now. God understands how humanly impossible it feels for you right now. And God sees your heart. And if you would start by creating those small pockets of time, and if you cannot go ahead in those times to actually do the things that you've planned to do, your in-depth Bible study, your prayers, your worship and all, but you just saturate yourself in that atmosphere of being in the presence of God, God absolutely understands. I think, and I know that my God absolutely understands that. Then another thing you can do is create shorter times of prayer, shorter times of Bible study. Listen to an audio Bible. You could go through chapters and chapters and chapters through your daily tasks, and this would help you feel connected to God again. Like I said, pockets of time, 5 minutes, set an alarm for 12 to 12:05 and pray within that time. Lay your heart out to God in that time. And you would notice that those pockets of 5 minutes, 10 minutes will add up to 30 minutes or 1 hour in a day. And you would realize that you have come to a point where you're spending quite a good amount of time with God rather than waiting for an extended time. This is a season where you need to be kind to yourself. This is a season where you need to be honest with God, lay out your heart with God, and be kind to yourself by allowing yourself to come to a place where you come to concessions, walk around things in a way that you might not have walked around them before. Give yourself a break because you're doing such a fantastic job already. So how about we talk about simpler ways to make time for yourself without guilt? So I know that making time for yourself feels like how, but it is not impossible. Start small and be intentional about it. Start small and be intentional about it. I remember when I first gave birth to my son, and I feel like one of the things that really used to help me then was having a shower. As simple as that is, that's one of the things that used to help me back then. I couldn't have that every day, but the days that I had it, I was intentional about it, and I'd spend an hour in the bathroom and I'd just soak it in, have my bath, let the hot water run through my body, and I would feel so absolutely good about it. So that's one of the things that I'm talking about. Be intentional about it. You want to take up a hobby like we talked about. You want to start doing things like we talked about. You want to go skydiving. You want to do all of that. You need to be intentional about it. Create time, set it out. As you're already listening to this right now, take out your notepad, take out your phone and open up your notes and write it down. Write down what you would like to achieve and be intentional about it. 5 minutes a day, I want to read a book. I'm telling myself that I want to read the book 5 minutes a day. I mean, I'm talking about this in this way because not all the things that you set out to do will be as easy to do. I've been trying to do that for the absolute longest time. And I'm also trying to do a lot of other things that I haven't been able to do. But like we said, small, simple steps. We're all in this together, taking small to simple steps. And that's absolutely what matters at this point in time. So start with a 10 to 15 minutes a day thing. Take coffee if you do. I usually would just stay in bed. I usually do this at night in the evening. Just stay in bed 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and just close my eyes in the dark and just relax, reminisce, take deep breaths, and feel myself again. Those deep breaths usually help me a lot, especially because like I've always said, I'm not 100% yet when it comes to the anxiety. I'm still working my way through it, but those 10 minutes, 15 minutes usually would just help me come back to myself and feel myself and come in connection with my reality in God and what God is doing in me. A quick stretch, taking a walk. Those walks really help. They help you to see beyond. I don't know how it works, but taking a walk just helps me to see beyond myself. It helps me to see other people. Just seeing other people do normal things just helps me to come back to reality and come back to myself and be in control of my feelings and how I'm feeling and my emotions at that point in time. So another thing that you need to do in a bit to making time for yourself is communicating your needs and letting others help you. You need to let your partner, your family, your friends, you need to let them know that you need moments to yourself. You need moments to recharge. Ask them. I mean, I know that a lot of people are compassionate towards new moms. They're compassionate towards mothers and all. If they can, I mean, I'm not saying take out the whole day. I know the world is dangerous and you need to be careful with your kids and all, but if you have friends, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, take a stroll, take a jog, lay in your bed and do nothing. Just come back to yourself. You need time to recharge. You need time to be with yourself. If you could ask someone to hold your baby while you're praying for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, you need that time. You need you time, because sometimes it just feels like you're giving and giving and giving and nobody's giving you. Nobody's giving you, and you just feel so lost in Motherland. And you don't have to be lost in Motherland. You need to build empires in Motherland. You need to build estates in Motherland. You need to build businesses in Motherland. And you can do it, because there are a lot of people doing it out there. And those people are such an inspiration to us. And they are such an inspiration to let us know that it's possible to do all of these things in Motherland and go beyond just being lost. Another thing that you need to do is let go of perfection. If your house is dirty and you do not feel like you can go ahead with doing the cleaning in your house, I beg you, my sis, let it be. The laundry can wait. Sweeping can wait. The plates can wait. Some things can actually wait, because your well-being matters. Because your state of mind matters. Because you matter. And you need to realize that. Give yourself some leeway. Give yourself some extra room to just realize that you matter. You are more than just a mom, and rediscovering yourself is a huge part of the journey of motherhood, because your children need someone to look up to, and you are absolutely that person that they need to look up to. The version of you that they would look up to is inside of you, and you can be that person if you are intentional about it. Little tiny steps every single day will go a huge way in determining if you become that person that you desire your children to look up to, because you are more than just a mother. You're an entrepreneur. You are a business owner. You are an excellent communicator. You are beautiful. You are smart. You are intelligent. You are that CEO. You can do absolutely everything that you want to do, because remember, you have that superpower inside of you. You gave it to a whole human, so you can do absolutely anything, especially because you have God inside of you. Motherhood changes you, but it doesn't erase you. You can be loving, devoted, and a woman of passion, dreams, and your personal needs matter. They absolutely matter. And it's absolutely not selfish to be desiring all the things that you're desiring. That's healthy. It's actually healthy to desire all that you're desiring. If this episode resonated with you, please share it with your fellow mom who might need to hear it. And remember that you are not alone. You are evolving. You are smart. You are beautiful. You are whole. You are kind. You are compassionate. You have an absolute bundle of joy in your arms that reminds you of the superpower that you have inside of you. So I will see you on the very next episode of Haze Off. Remember, you do not have to be lost in Motherland. You can absolutely build estates, build empires, build businesses in Motherland, and make it a literal bed of roses. Yeah, I know the tons. Yeah, those are the things that come with motherhood. But you can build empires in Motherland rather than being lost in Motherland. So I will see you in the very next episode. Thank you so much for listening. Please like, subscribe, yeah, and let someone know about this podcast. It would be such an honor to have you share this podcast and let others know about it. Once again, my name is Dana, and I'll see you on the very next episode. Thank you so much. Bye.